Hello fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And unfortunately, I disagree with CGP Grey. I love his content, the cartoons, the whole idea of not showing your face so nobody knows who you look like, what you look like. That's what I do. I don't want to show my face, and I am amazed by so many of his videos. They are pretty interesting, and his persistence and craziness in some of these videos that he goes to so much length and so much effort to find the final truth to. But he has this saying that he says, or at least I've heard it a number of times, which is that there are no solutions, only trade-offs. And I liked it. I thought it was fantastic. It's great. Yeah, that's true. There's only trade-offs. Um, Part of the reason why that whole idea started to unravel for me, and I thought it was BS in a way, is because I went looking to see, who said it, where did this come from? And apparently it comes from some economist. I don't know if the guy's name is Shockwell, something like that. I'm not sure. But it's a black guy. And the first instance that I saw of him was on Fox News. And that did not bode well for what he had to say. Um, I want to try to condense what I understand some of his points of view to be, which is that he, in one instance, I believe, he was saying a sentence that went along the lines of the Democrats want equality so much, but at what cost? And it struck me the way that he said it, but at what cost? That didn't seem to be a kind of a logical step by step, hey, let's go through all of the different variables and see. That seemed to be a marketing ploy, um, which is that, hey, there's something really horrible about what I'm going to say. Meaning that, okay, maybe equality is an admirable goal, but we shouldn't push too hard for it. Which to me is like, geez Louise, really? Is that a thing? What do you mean at what cost? The whole idea of equality is that some people don't have, they're not as equal as other people, so other people have more. If there's any cost to be had, it's probably going to be borne by the people who have more. So this at what cost is just a way to protect the status quo, it sounds like. And as someone who has a platform, that particular economist, I think, he's already made it. He's on Fox TV, he's on TV. He is a contributor, he's probably going to get, paid. He's going to have speaking engagements, blah, blah, blah. To me, he's just like, a latter-day Candace Owens. Somebody who just is representative that, somebody wants on Fox News because he fits the bill in terms of his appearance to say, well, I agree with you guys. Even though I would be one of the people who would not benefit from these ideas. So anyway, back to CGP Grey. Before I think I got to that point, I was going to use there are no solutions, only trade-offs to, whoops, I am talking. If I talk in a particular direction, it's going to make noises on the recording. Anyway, I forget my train of thought, but one of the ideas is simply that, hey, if there are no solutions, only trade-offs, heaven is supposed to be a solution. It's supposed to be no pain, it's perfect. So the idea is that with perfection, you have perfect solutions. because heaven is perfect. So the idea is, hey, if there are only trade-offs, then heaven is just a trade-off. You can't achieve perfection, which we all know anyway. We don't really need a saying in order to make sense of that, you know. But if you believe the saying, it sounds good, makes sense, and it holds up, then it suggests that heaven is not heaven. It's not you marketing this thing that is impossible. And for a minute, I was like, yeah, that's gonna work. Yeah, this shows that heaven is ridiculous. But then I thought about it. I remember hearing about a billionaire. Somebody asked him what it was like to be a billionaire, and he said, reluctantly apparently, that it was like if everything in the world were free. So, for most people, when you have a problem and you need to pay to have that problem solved, you need to get a solution, the trade-off is money. You have to spend a certain amount of money. But if you are rich enough that these three trade-offs are so negligible as to have no consequential uh, deleterious effect on your life, then that is the perfect solution. That's a solution. Okay, yeah, there's a trade-off, but the trade-off for you is essentially zero, and you have your solution, which is as good as it is. So then it becomes, this saying, it seems to just be a negative. It seems to be like, okay, so I solved my problem. Now I know there's going to be some backlash with this. That it seems to be a kind of a negative way of looking at life when you push the example all the way to a billionaire. Now let's look at, let's say for example, I'm drowning, and the solution, I suppose that I would like, is to not be drowning. And someone might say, well, if somebody saves you, there are no solutions, only trade-offs. So while you are alive, you've traded the fact that you were saved for all of the problems that go with continuing to live. Now, clearly, to the person who is drowning and about to die, that would sound very ridiculous. That, oh my God, all the baggage that comes with life, now you have to deal with that. That is your trade-off. No, in that instant where you're saved, you've got a solution to your problem, which was that you were dying. And you don't care about all the negative um, ideas or responsibilities of being alive. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, now you have to keep breathing. Yeah, because somebody saved you. That, I want to say the R word, but that is really, really stupid to me. And I think that anytime you have an argument that has a negative in it, like that, like no and never and always, or, not necessarily just a negative, but I can't remember what the word is. Something that's absolute. There are no, never, always. You're probably going to run into problems unless, you know, you're dealing with something like gravity, maybe, or some other physical rule of the universe. So I think that, yeah, I can't agree with CGP Grey and this. There are no solutions, only trade-off things. There are lots of solutions that are negligible. Like, in order to keep living, I have to keep breathing. That's not really much of a trade-off. It's not a big deal, you know. And essentially one can say that that is a solution. I took a breath. That's not a big deal. There are no solutions, only trade-offs. You have to keep eating. Eating is delicious. Eating is normally fantastic. So I like CGP Grey. I am sad that he has that saying that seems to um, have originated with this economist who is, to me, obviously a conservative person, but like I said, in the tone and his mannerisms, he just wants to maintain the status quo. And I'm sorry that CGP Grey got his this saying from this guy. Um, I think that he should probably reassess whether he wants to continue to use it because, yeah, I don't think that it's applicable. If you say that things are on a continuum, you know, they're not necessarily people who are completely straight. They're not people who are well, they are because it's a continuum and they're going to be some absolutes. There are people who are completely straight. There are people who are completely gay or homosexual, and there's degrees. And there's a bunch of, potentially men and women who consider themselves to be straight, but have had gay experiences that they enjoyed or maybe pursued or went along with or whatever. Um, it's the same thing for everything else, right? Uh, yeah. So that's my 2 cents. And I was think, yeah, I think I already mentioned the thing about absolutes. Absolutes lead to problems because you have to encompass the entire universe in your absolutes, and in every case, and that's always a problem. So anyway, thanks for listening. If you did, have a good one.